Marketing your business can be really, really complicated because a lot of times there are a lot of moving parts. You have especially when you're doing it on different platforms, you have the messages coming in, you have the ads going out, you have analytics you have to take care of, you have so much to do. And that's where marketing automation comes in because this podcast, the essence of this podcast is helping you do more with technology. So a lot of times we do a lot of these things in our marketing process manually. We put up our ads, we try to read the analytics, we try to reply to DMs, we try to copy people from one platform into our CRM, so many things. But that's where marketing automation, like I said, comes in. And today, to discuss marketing automation, I'll be talking with Hannah Balliet from Ugly Mug Marketing. So welcome to the show, Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me, Peter. I'm excited to be here.
All right. So tell us a bit about, I hope I got your surname right. Please pronounce it for me.
Ugly Mug Marketing. Oh, my name?
Yeah, your surname.
Oh, Balliet.
Balliet, yeah.
Yes.
I know it sounded a bit off in my head. All right. So tell us a bit about what you do at Ugly Mug Marketing.
Yeah. So I've been at Ugly Mug Marketing for nearly 7 years now. And I started off working one-on-one with entrepreneurs, business owners, really in kind of like the small to medium business space. And I was helping them build out organic and paid strategies on a very minimal budget, but with a high impact. So I was working with people who had budgets of $1,000 or even less per month to invest in all of their social media marketing. And that was a lot of fun. But as I have grown over the years, I've really started to work with higher caliber clients, people that are in the multi-million-dollar market, and customers who can afford to automate and really value having those automation components that save them time and help their businesses be more efficient. And so over the course of the last probably, I would say, 5 years plus, I have been working with those home services clients in particular to help them develop online strategies still using paid and organic, but also really focusing on their automation components so that we can effectively convert leads into paying customers.
Okay. So that's perfect. So in the description for the show, I actually promised that there will be no jargon, and I started with jargon. I talked about marketing automation. So so I've actually fallen foul of my own rule. So let's go back there. What is marketing automation? So for the listeners who don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, I think marketing automation is all about saving you time. At the end of the day, like it has the word automation in it. I think when everyone hears the word automation, they're like, oh, automatic. I don't have to think about it. I set it up once and I can kind of set it and forget it, right? And so there are a lot of tools out there these days that can help us automate things, make them happen automatically without us having to invest our time in them when it comes to our marketing. So a tool that I really love to use for marketing automation is Zapier. Zapier has saved myself and my clients hundreds of hours, especially earlier when you were talking about you have to go and get your leads from here, or you're trying to take people from social and get them into your CRM, or you're trying to
Yeah.
take them from one place to another. Normally, you would have to manually go and do that, right? And so Zapier takes that busy work and takes the you out of the equation. You set it up, you say, hey, I want my Facebook leads to get added into MailChimp. And then once they get into MailChimp, I want all of these emails to automatically be sent to them, right? You can set all of that up using Zapier, and then of course using MailChimp to build out your email sequence, right? But we have that set up, a sequence very similar to that set up for a lot of our clients. But we also utilize it to connect to CRMs too, like you mentioned earlier. So taking our leads from Facebook and adding them into things like Salesforce or Service Titan or Entreport or other CRM tools like those. And I think that has been something I've been really passionate about over the years because so often we focus on building this massive following on social media, right? We have hundreds and thousands, sometimes even millions of followers on social media. But the reality is we don't own these social media platforms, right? We don't
Yes.
own our Facebook page. We don't own our Instagram. We could log on tomorrow and they could be gone. And we could fight and fight and fight Facebook. We could fight Meta, right? And we could say, hey, we really need this platform back. But at the end of the day, if all of your eggs are in the social media basket, meaning if that's the only way that you communicate with your customers, that's a really dangerous game to be playing. We want to get those people off of the social media platforms that we're actively present on and move them and convert them over into our CRM or into our MailChimp or somewhere else where we actually own that data and that information, that person's email address, their name, their phone number, their zip code, what other information is really important to our business. Because again, we don't own those platforms. And if they're only living there, and if that's the only way that we're communicating with our customers, we're really missing other key components within our business.
I think this thing you talked about, I've been a victim of it some years back where I had Facebook ads to advertise an e-commerce business and woke up on Monday morning, went to work, and it was all gone.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
It was all gone. So I think what saved us, like you said, was that it wasn't a CRM actually, but we had this where the enquiries and co left Facebook to a Google Sheets. So
Yep.
that was what saved us. We're able to go back to that Google Sheet and look for people that asked but did not buy and start going over them. That was what saved us. If not, it was a nightmare. So I totally agree
Yeah.
with you.
Okay, so you're like living proof because I tell people this and they're like, no, Facebook would never. And I'm like, they would and they do, and they still are. And for no reason, it seems like, or they shut something down and they say, well, it violated one of our policies. And you're like, but which one? And then they don't even tell you which one.
Exactly. So you're just
Oh, so frustrating.
you're just confused. So for the sake of our listeners who might want to be a bit more visual, can you give maybe 2 or 3 examples of this marketing automation being implemented using this Zapier, implemented
Yeah.
in maybe 2 or 3 different business types so that they can have an idea, build pictures of the possibilities with it?
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'll start with kind of smaller side or smaller end companies or businesses, and then I'll kind of work my way up to like larger corporations that are using tools like Zapier. So the first type of Zap we have set up is for our clients who are, I'll use an example. They offer free cancer screenings to the central Louisiana community where our headquarters are. And what they do is they're going after a very specific audience who qualifies for these free cancer screenings. It's someone who meets a certain income level. It's a very specific person. So
Yeah.
we've taken all that information and that data of who that person is from our client. We've put that into Facebook Ads Manager. We've said, hey, we are looking for men and women who are between the ages of 25 and 55 years old, who live within these very specific parishes or counties, who are interested in these types of things. And we've developed what's called a Facebook lead generation campaign. So this is a campaign that is native to Facebook, meaning that it's going to create a form when they click on that learn more or that sign up or get quote button. Instead of taking them to a website, it's actually going to keep them on the Facebook platform and it's going to pull up a form. And on the back end, you can customize that form a little bit. You can say, hey, I want to get their name, I want to get their phone number, I want to get their email address. In this instance, we also ask what parish they live in because that's really important for the person who's scheduling the appointments to know where that person lives. So those are some of the questions that we ask: name, phone number, email, and then parish. So once someone submits that form, we have a marketing automation set up through Zapier that then takes that information and puts it into a Google spreadsheet. And so then their team, line by line, every single time a lead comes in, they they'll see them all populate in the Google spreadsheet, but we also have a third step to the automation that sends an email alert to their team as well. So they are getting alerted every single time somebody fills out the sheet. So it goes Facebook lead generation form completed, then that person's contact information and where they live and everything is then added to the spreadsheet. And then their team is notified that, hey, here's the new lead. They're in the spreadsheet. Here's a link to the spreadsheet. And then that enables their team to not have to go into Ads Manager and download the leads every single day. It also eliminates time that the lead potentially would be sitting there and not hearing back from their team. So often we lose the attention of the people completing the form because we take way too long following up with them. We're simply waiting days or, oh my gosh, some people even weeks, or you might just never hear from a company, right? So this allows us for quick follow-up time, so long as they still have this point of contact working on their team that strictly is there to follow up with any and all leads that come in for their business. So they then use the spreadsheet to go in and they track, did this person qualify? Did they schedule? If so, when did they schedule for, or were they not qualified? Were we able to make contact with them? And then we have a automated chart that then populates on another tab that kind of gives us all the really important data that we need. Okay, we generated 700 leads. How many of those actually converted into scheduled appointments? So we actually have a case study on our website on this one. I think there were around 740 leads for this particular cancer screening program. There were 740 leads that came in over the course of a year, and around 300 of them actually converted into patients for the cancer screening program, which was awesome. So still under that 50% mark. We would love to get it higher than that. But ultimately, this is a place where they were generating 0 leads. 0 people could be attributed to social media or anything that was happening on social media. And so now we have a system that allows us to see, hey, these people are seeing our ad on social media. They are coming in and they are scheduling appointments. And that is so valuable for any business, right? So that's kind of on the lower end of the automation. We've got a spreadsheet, we've got an email alert. Those are all automatically happening. They're saving our client time and they're saving us time too. Now, the second level of this is someone who is also using a tool like MailChimp or maybe Constant Contact for their email marketing. And within their Constant Contact or MailChimp account, they might have a sequence that is also built out to upsell or to provide additional educational content or take someone along a different type of customer journey, right? So we still utilize the Facebook lead generation form. We still have it dump into a spreadsheet because, like you mentioned earlier, sometimes that is your backup, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what I'm setting up, I'm always creating a Google spreadsheet because I'm like, this is the backup to the backup to the backup. Like, I must have this in case all things go crazy, something happens in the system. Like, I just want to make sure that we still have these leads, this information, because within Facebook, I think you have like 90 days to actually download from Facebook ads library. So if you're past those 90 days and you generated, I don't know, 1,000 leads and you're outside of that 90-day window from when that person filled out the form, they're gone.
Wow.
All their information's gone, which is so frustrating. So always the backup Google spreadsheet. So for these clients, we have the lead fills out the form on Facebook using that lead generation form. Then they get added to the spreadsheet. Then an email alert might go to their team, but then we have them added into MailChimp. And with the MailChimp automation component, we tell Zapier, hey, add it to this particular MailChimp account, add it to this list, and add this tag. So oftentimes we will tag the person as Facebook, or we might say Facebook, and then we might name the campaign so that we can get really specific on which version of the campaign is actually helping us generate the most amount of new email subscribers. And then from there, when that tag is added, using the automations or journeys feature within MailChimp or Constant Contact, we can have a anywhere from a 2 email sequence all the way to a 10 email sequence,
Wow.
taking people along a customer journey and seeing how often that they're actually opening the email, right? And how often they're taking action and clicking on the call to action button. So that might be the kind of the next level. Once you get started in just the email alert or the spreadsheet from your lead generation campaign, you might jump into playing around with MailChimp. And then, really, ultimately, the last and final component that I am at right now is asking people to fill out this lead generation form from an offer. So we work with a lot of home service companies, so people who are in the heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing industries. And so we will run a particular offer around one of those trades. So let's say we're offering 0% interest financing for 72 months for a new HVAC system. So new heating and cooling system, new AC unit and furnace. So we're running that as our ad. People are filling out our inquiry form saying, hey, I am interested in this offer. I want to purchase this, or I'm in the market for a new AC unit. I would like to have someone come and do a quote. Great. They fill out the form. Then that information is automated to get added to that spreadsheet. Then it is taken and it sends an email alert to their customer service representatives, because ultimately those are the people who are going to be following up with the lead anyway. So we want to make sure that they know first. So we send them an email. Then we have integrated it directly into Service Titan, which is their CRM system. It's where they keep and house all of their current customers, all of their prospects. It's where they do all of their scheduling, all of their dispatching as a company. I mean, they do everything in Service Titan, right? And so we wanted a way to be able to integrate directly into the systems and processes that are already taking place in their business. We didn't want the customer service rep to then have to go into a spreadsheet that they normally don't go in and that they're maybe going to be annoyed by, right? We want to
Yeah.
integrate directly into the tools and systems that they already have in place. So for them, it's Service Titan. So the lead information also gets sent to Service Titan, and it populates in their booking screen, which is the first thing they see when they log in the morning. That's the screen they're looking at all day long, because then it allows them to just click on the lead, dial out while they have their headset on, and business as usual, right? But it's so helpful because now we're also able to add certain tags to that customer and pull reports that tell us things like, hey, of the 10 leads that came in this month for that particular heating and cooling or 0% interest financing offer, how many of those people actually scheduled appointments, scheduled estimates? And then of those estimates, how many of those actually sold and converted into paying customers? And that is incredibly valuable information for us to have as someone that they are purchasing our services to deliver on results, right?
Yeah.
But also really valuable information for them to have as they're trying to determine how they want to spend and leverage their marketing dollars that they have. On average, home service companies usually invest anywhere from like 8 to 12% of their revenue back into their marketing. And so for them, they're trying to determine, how do we want to spend this, 10% that we're reinvesting back into our business? Do we want to allocate more to our social media? Is that delivering a higher return for us? Or is it billboards? Or is it something else? And so this really allows them to strategize and to be able to see, all right, Facebook is generating us revenue. Is it something that we want to continue to invest in, or do we want to add more to our budget? But another component within Service Titan too is we have it integrated with Hatch. So Hatch is a texting SMS tool for home service companies to help them convert people, because sometimes people just don't like to talk on the phone, right? They would just like,
Yeah.
they're like, just text me. Like, I don't really want to talk about this. Like, can you just text me to set up or schedule the appointment? Like they just don't like to talk on the phone. Totally fine. We can accommodate that, right? So if a customer service representative can't get that person on the phone when they dial out, well, then they might add them to the Hatch integration. And then within Hatch, that person is set to get a sequence of text messages depending on how they answer. It's very conditional setup. So if they say yes, they are still interested, then it will send them a series. If it says no, well, then it'll be like, oh, we're so sorry if we didn't follow up in time, blah, 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 blah. Thank you so much for inquiring with us. We hope to hear from you soon, right? We might text them again in the next, month or so, right?
Yeah.
But all of that to say, there's different levels within marketing automation. And I think as your business grows and scales, there might be more room for automation, or there might be more tools. Your business might be getting a little more complex as more people are coming on board, right? And so all of that to say is Zapier is a wonderful tool, whether you are someone who is just getting started all the way to someone who is a multi-million dollar company.
Interesting. All right. So when we're talking about the first integration, you talked about having a spreadsheet as a backup, just in case. So
Yeah.
so that brings us to the next question. What are some things that can go wrong when setting up these automations?
There are lots of things that can go wrong. So one thing that I have accidentally done when setting up some of these automations, especially if I'm working with someone who is switching over from 2023 to 2024,
Yeah.
right? There are more tabs within the spreadsheet, making sure that when you're setting up the automation within Zapier, you have the correct spreadsheet selected. Or you might have the right spreadsheet selected, but you have the wrong tab within that spreadsheet selected. It might default to just say whatever the first one is, but really you might need the second, the third, the fourth one, right? So making sure that that is set up appropriately. Once you get into some of the higher level, integrating with like a CRM or anything like that, you really have to make sure that you have all of the right API codes, the client, the secret, all of that fun stuff. If you don't have the right information from the client on that end, that can hinder you from fully setting up your automation as well. But I would say those are kind of the top two mistakes that get made. So I had like 3 months where all of my 2024 leads were actually going onto the 2023 spreadsheet. And when I went into the spreadsheet, I was like, wait a second, why are there no 2024 leads? Did I mess something up? Zapier hasn't been sending any of the leads to my spreadsheet. And then I jumped over to the 2023 spreadsheet and I was like, oh, I didn't change that in the Zap. So I was able to just copy and paste and then go in and change the Zap so that any new leads were then getting added to the right spread or right tab within that spreadsheet. But yeah, just like little things like that. You do still have to pay attention in that setup process. Be double checking, triple checking, making sure that you've got everything going to the right place. Or for me, I'm working with a lot of different locations, right? They might be running the same offer, but as I'm setting up these email kind of triggers within Zapier, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure this offer was for this location. I need to make sure that that email is going to the correct email address and not going to another location. Or I need to make sure that in the body of the email, I'm actually saying, hey, Bassett Services team. And I'm not saying, hey, Academy Air when the email is going to Bassett,
Yeah.
all of those things in the setup process, there's a ton of room for human error. You probably will make a mistake the first time you set up a Zap, but hopefully it's nothing earth shattering that can't be fixed.
That's interesting. So, from the mistakes you talked about, what are some tips you have for people who have these automation setups? Tips you have for them to maintain, to monitor, to optimize their whole automated systems?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that regularly going into the spreadsheet always helps me as I am ensuring that everything is going exactly where it is supposed to go. So I will occasionally do a random audit. So I will go into the spreadsheet and I will go and find a lead, and then I will make sure that that lead did in fact come from Facebook. So I will go within Facebook, I will download the leads from there. I will make sure that that person's name was on that particular campaign. I will then go and make sure that I can find them when I search their name in the CRM or um, within MailChimp or Constant Contact or whatever email software they may be using. And then I'll also ensure that when I search that person's name in my own inbox, because I CC myself on every single email that gets sent out
Yeah.
to our clients saying, hey, here's a new lead. I make sure that I can go and find that person there too. Because no matter if the lead came in 3 months ago or they came in yesterday, if the automations and everything are set up appropriately, I should be able to search and find that person's name at any given stage that the automation is set up for. So I think a regular audit, whether you do it once a month or maybe twice a month, just to ensure that everything is firing as properly, or as it should be, then I think that's a really great place to start. Um, I think another thing too is, especially with leads, I really like to talk directly with the person, whoever's handling the lead. So if in my first example, the cancer screening program, I really like to talk with whoever is actually calling all of the patients. And I just like to get their general feedback. Hey, are you feeling like a lot of the numbers aren't working? Or are you feeling like you're getting hung up on? Or is there, is there another method of communication that you think would be better for following up with these people, maybe outside of calling them on the phone or of emailing them? Maybe we could have some sort of texting service that might be a little bit more user friendly, but also if they don't like to talk on the phone, that's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. Allowing them another avenue to schedule their appointment. I really like to talk with whoever that person is. So in the cancer screening program, it's whoever's answering their phones and scheduling and booking appointments with patients. But then with my client who's in the home services industry, I mean, they have hundreds of customer service representatives. So I really just like to get the general feedback from the customer service representatives. They're like, hey, these leads aren't as great as Angie's List leads, or the Angie's List leads are trash and the Facebook leads are awesome. I like to get their feedback too on the quality of the lead and just the overall process too. Because there have been times when I've said, hey, we're sending the lead here. And they're like, it'd actually be better if they showed up on this window. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, great. Wonderful. I will, let me see what I can do within Zapier so that I can send them to the appropriate window. So you're not having to click and search everywhere. We want to ensure that people are followed up with an appropriate amount of time. So those are just two tips and tricks. First one being doing an audit. The second one is talking to the person, whoever is handling the lead in these examples.
That's great. All right, so let's go to your software of choice. Why did you choose Zapier as your software of choice for automations?
Yeah, that's a great question. Zapier to me is so incredibly user friendly. I
Mm,
think as someone who is pretty well versed in the world of marketing and technology, I think for me, it's just so nice to just have this one place where I'm like, boom, 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 done. Like it's a few simple clicks. There's no coding or anything like that required, no prior knowledge of that or that world. I'm personally not a coder. And so, to me, I'm just like, this is a wonderful tool to make all of these things automatically happen. It saves me time, it saves my clients time, and they see it as a value add as well because they love that all of these things are firing and automatically integrating into the systems and processes that they have. And I think that's what's so great about Zapier too, is there are thousands of applications that it automatically integrates with. And I mean, thousands of CRMs, thousands of probably database tools or different functions within, the G Suite. I mean, there are so many things that it can integrate with. And I just feel that, again, if you are someone who is just getting started, you have the capacity to figure out Zapier. But if you are a very seasoned marketer, you also will probably get a little carried away with some of the automations, but there's just so much that can be done. And again, all very user friendly, automatically integrated. Once you have your login information or your API keys or whatever it may be, it is very simple to get started.
mm, nice. All right, so let's say business owners listen to you so far. They are now inspired. They've set up Zapier. What would be the first automation you'd advise them, or you would say they should set up that will be helpful for them?
Yeah, I would say go into Meta Business Suite, go into your ad account, set up a lead generation campaign, and get those people off of Facebook or off of Instagram and get them into something, whether it is whether it could be your MailChimp account, it could be your CRM system, it could be a spreadsheet, and then you're manually following up and sending personalized emails or bulk emails. Whatever you're doing right now, whatever stage you're at, I think that is the absolute most important and best thing that you could be doing with your resources. Because if you have a following, we had a client, they were a coffee shop and bakery. They had 13,000 people who followed them on Facebook.
Wow.
And they had an email list of only 230 people. We were
Wow.
like, guys, this is not, I mean, it's not bad, right? But I'm like, this isn't great. Like, we need to get those 13,000 people from Facebook and get them into your MailChimp account.
MailChimp,
So what we did was we ran an ad and we only targeted people who liked their page because we knew that those people were already fans of them. They already knew them. They already liked them. They already trusted them. It was a shoo-in, right? We were generating leads at less than 50 cents a lead.
Wow.
So I was like, come on, we still run that campaign off and on from time to time. Whenever there's extra money, we're like, oh, let's try and get more of those 13,000 people onto the email list now, right? I think they've probably got an email list of just like 5 or 6,000 now, but just over time, we've been converting and moving those people from the platform and onto their email list. And they send a monthly newsletter. They don't even have really any automation set up. They have one automation set up that when someone fills out the form for their newsletter, they also ask for their birthday. And so they send them an email on their birthday to get a free cupcake. So that is one component of automation that they have set up within their lead generation forms and within Zapier. So yeah, but then they send out this monthly newsletter and it performs so well. The open rate is incredible because they've been intentionally targeting people who already know, like, and trust them, the people that follow their Facebook page. So it's been really awesome.
Nice. All right. So I know you said it's easy to use, there's no coding, you just click, but for a lot of people, it's those easy to use things are still really, really complicated. They're really scary. Because like something like Zapier now, it has so many things you can link at this end and link at the other end, and someone might log in and say, oh my God, no, I'm not doing this. So what advice do you have for business owners like that who might feel overwhelmed by that idea of logging in and trying to set up those automations?
The first thing that I would do, don't even log into Zapier. Get a pen and paper and write down things that you consistently do on a week-to-week basis, right? So are you consistently sending an email out to your team or to your customers manually? Are you having to do anything with billing manually? Are you just think about all of those things that you're consistently doing on a weekly, on a monthly, on a quarterly, on an annual basis, and just make a list of all of those things. And then maybe you go back in a couple days and you kind of add to it, right? You edit it a little bit. You say, oh, actually, I do this too. I didn't even think about that. Or I do this other thing. Or, here's something else I should be doing, but I haven't done it because I don't even have the time to do it. But this is something that I should be doing on a weekly basis. Make a list of all of that and then kind of prioritize hey, this would save me, on average 5 hours a month if I didn't have to do this task anymore. Great. And then I would go into Zapier once you've kind of nailed down maybe, I don't know, 2 to 3 top things or activities that are taking place in your business on a weekly or monthly basis, I would say. And then go into Zapier and say, all right, does my billing integrate directly with, where I'm housing all of my clients? Is there a way for me to set up an automation for that to save me some time? Now, the thing is, on the front end, it is going to take you a lot of time. And especially if you're someone who is just getting started in your business and you're feeling really overwhelmed and all of this sounds so far-fetched, right? You're going to get you're going to feel so lost when you go into Zapier. But if you have the mindset that, hey, on the front end, this is going to take me some time, and you have one particular task that you're after to set an automation up for, I think that's going to help you tremendously. Don't just log into Zapier and be like, so what can I do today? Right? I'm ready to automate, right? No, be intentional about what particular steps in the process that you're automating. And it does not have to be in marketing. It can just be in your business in general.
I think that's really great advice, because a lot of us have this thing, you want to start a task and you just jump into it without actually planning it out or
Yes.
doing anything first of all. So very great advice. Plan first before you open it. If not, you're just going to stay there and stare, and then you hate Zapier for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And really, Zapier should be your best friend.
All right. So the next thing is, how can listeners measure the success of their automations? They've automated whatever in their business. Let's say something as simple as getting leads from Meta into a spreadsheet, or something more complex, sending out emails or something. How can they measure the success of these automations they've done to know that these automations are actually working for their businesses?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to whatever your company's goal is. So, for my clients that are in the heating and cooling industry or plumbing or electrical, their job or their goal really is to generate more revenue. They're trying to convert more leads into booked jobs, and more booked jobs into actual completed revenue, right? So, the way that we are tracking that for them is when their leads come into Service Titan, they're also tagged or marked with a certain campaign name. So they are all associated to a very specific campaign. And we are able to set that up within Service Titan, within their CRM. But then we also then tell Zapier, this is the campaign to associate with leads that come from this campaign, right? Or from this Facebook ad. And then that allows us to go back in and pull reports and say, hey, did this offer work? Or, did the leads that were generated from this particular campaign, did they actually convert, and did it generate any new revenue for the business? At the end of the day, I think revenue is probably the main goal for all of our companies, right? There might be some level of brand awareness or of reach that is also really important, right? We want to have more people at the top of the funnel in order to have more people converting, right? We have to do that too. So I think that can be a really great sign if people are actually converting into paying customers at the very, very end of the journey. I think that's a great way to tell if our automations are actually working, because we live in a world where people want things now. They do not want to wait. And so I always tell my clients, hey, if you are not going to have some level of automated communication directly with the customer, then whoever is calling, whoever is texting, whoever is emailing, they need to be on it. I was just looking at one of our home services clients from last month. They had 22 leads came in, and this woman scheduled 21 of them. Only one didn't book a job.
Wow.
And I think it's because, oh my gosh, what is her name? I think her name's Jennifer. Jennifer and Destiny. These women are on it. The second that these leads come in, they're picking up the phone and calling because they're like, I know that the sooner I call this person,
The better.
the more like they're already kind of in the buying mode, right? They saw our ad. They said, hey, I want that. I need that. Now I'm going to call them. I'm going to jump on the opportunity, and I'm going to schedule their appointment now. These ladies are awesome. They are on it, on it, on it. And I think that if you're not going to have somebody who is like a Jennifer or a Destiny, then you definitely need to have some of that automated communication built into your Zapier Zap.
That's great. All right. So as we come to the end of this, where can listeners learn more about you? Where can listeners connect with you? Where can listeners learn more about marketing automations, different interesting things they can do with with Zapier in their business?
Yeah. So you can personally connect with me on LinkedIn. You can search for me, Hannah Balliet. You can also visit our website, uglymugmarketing.com. We host a variety of different trainings online and in person at our headquarters in Alexandria, Louisiana. Also, hopefully, going to be hosting a in-person event in Raleigh, North Carolina here soon. But those are the best places to find us and to get connected. We oftentimes talk about Zapier integrations, or we talk about marketing automation in general. We cover a wide variety of topics related to marketing on our weekly coffee chats as well. So you can find us on YouTube, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Ugly Mug Marketing.
Amazing. So for the guests, Ugly Mug Marketing, LinkedIn, everything will be in the show notes once
Wonderful.
this episode goes live. So you can connect with Hannah, you can connect with Ugly Mug Marketing. So for the listeners, for the watchers on video, did you get any value from this? If you did, please share this episode with anybody you know it would help. Anybody who is overwhelmed by everything happening in their marketing, anyone who wants to automate, or like we said, anyone who logged into Zapier without planning beforehand and hates Zapier right now, share this episode with them to show them that it's actually really easy and possible. And if you want to be the first to know when we post more helpful episodes like this, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're hearing my voice or you're seeing us on. So we have a lot of episodes on marketing, a lot of episodes on technology. So over 80 episodes of the podcast. So you can scroll down over the next week because the next episode is coming in 7 days' time. So till then, don't forget to keep taking your business. And thank you, Hannah, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So bye for now.